Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another options and play video update. Uh, better, better a little late than never, right? Earnings video going out Monday. Plenty of time to get that game plan together for the week. Typically Monday morning starts slow, which is the case this week as well. So wasn't really that much of interest to begin with. So onto what comes next, right? And there is quite a bit that is coming up next because this week is just absolutely packed. Really, probably the biggest week of the quarter. Okay, so after the close on Monday, NXPI about 11 points. What's priced in? I don't know. I'm still seeing a lot of mixed semi reports. A little bit lower volatility. Many of these names that were reported recently just aren't moving what is priced in. So I'm going to continue to hold off laying out money on options on semi reports. Maybe when that trend changes, then I'll start to focus on semis more for earnings. After earnings, different story depending on what the price action looks like. Uh, also, after the close today, FFIV about 10.5 points is what's priced in. It's been more of a mover in recent quarters, so maybe worth a look. Coming off a weaker print in April, big gap lower. It's near its low, still kind of in a downtrend though. So I don't know if it's going to be a focus for me. It is a busy week and there's a lot of other big names. This isn't one I trade very often. All right, before the open on Tuesday, it's really a big blue chip morning. A lot of industrials. 3M pricing in about 525, and GE is pricing in about 475. So, um, to me, it's just really hard to see how any big multinational company doesn't feel an impact of the strong dollar. It seems like it's popping up on just about every company that reports um, press releases. So I mean, I guess it comes down to who manages it better, what stock isn't really accounting for it, meaning like like where the expectations are priced in and where the expectations aren't priced in, right? 3M, GE, both been hit pretty hard. Still kind of at the lower ranges. I mean, I'd say of the two, and I keep talking about them together, but it's because the charts are kind of similar. I'd say of the two, GE's been more the consistent mover um, on earnings recently. I guess if I was going to go with one, maybe I'd go with that, just because it has been more consistent. But in terms of the option pricing, it actually seems better on 3M. GE's more consistent. 3M seems like maybe more potential if it does move. GM, so about $2 was priced in. Still stuck in the year-to-date downtrend, similar to Ford. We'll see what this report looks like because if it can get a strong break of the downtrend, there seems to be potential. But I mean, this would be more of like a post-earnings play for me. Mickey D's, so about 7.5 points is what they're looking for. It's acted pretty well. It's within striking distance of its 2022 high. Still a little bit off of. Well, actually, I guess that's January, so still a little ways away. But it's definitely closer to its 2022 high than it is its 2022 low. I mean, I think in this environment though, that means that they'd better deliver because there could be more downside. But if they do have a solid quarter, similar to April, maybe there's some room to the upside. So I guess it'd be maybe slightly more positive. UPS, so about 13 points is what's priced in. So after back to back to back to back huge moves on earnings, UPS had a really quiet one in April. So I guess when you look at UPS, the big question is it going to revert to the previous trend of huge moves, or is it going to be another quiet quarter? Because, at 13 points, options definitely aren't cheap, um, and they're more in line with what it's done the previous quarters versus like the last quarter. So, I mean, I guess the chart's kind of tight, seems due for a move, but, it's a toss up, right? Because last quarter didn't move enough. Quarters before that, if it was only priced in at 13, you definitely could have made some money. So, I don't know. I might actually look at FedEx as a sympathy play if I feel like it's going to be a big mover. All right. So after the close on Tuesday, here come the tech titans. So Google's priced in about $7. I mean, it's split, so options are cheaper dollar wise, but I mean $7 is still a pretty big percentage move. Coming off a mixed quarter, It's been sideways for a couple of months. I mean, it really seems set up well for a move, and I guess I'd give them the benefit of the doubt versus Snap because they've delivered consistently for a while. So I guess it wouldn't surprise me to see us catch a bid ahead of the report tomorrow if the market recovers a bit. Um, and I mean, it's just going to be a huge week of ad tech reports, and this definitely could move Meta really big before it reports the following day. Microsoft, about $13 is what's priced in. This is more of a wild card because I already warned about guidance due to the strong dollar. So now it kind of comes down to are there any other issues to be concerned about, right? They have beaten and raised many, many quarters in a row, but the stock's also not cheap. So they really need to deliver. And actually, the option pricing doesn't seem that cheap either. So I usually avoid stocks that guide early, but Microsoft still seems like it could be a little bit more of a mover with, to me, more of the potential on the downside, that there's more issues outside of currency. So um, I haven't decided whether I'm going to hold options into earnings, but um, we'll see. We'll see what the next 24 hours looks like. End phase, so about 25 points is what's priced in. Recent solar leader, looking for direction. It keeps spinning around up around 200 or so, and I mean it has had solid quarters in 2022, and it looks okay technically. So maybe more of like a speculative bullish idea if I can get risk down. Um, Teradyne, Texas Instruments. So I mean more chip names, same story. Until I see large moves that are paying options, I'm probably gonna be avoiding semis on earnings. And also Visa. So 1075 is what's priced in. We've had a few credit card reports already, kind of mixed. So it's hard to say what to expect from Visa. It did move quite a bit in April, so maybe there's still some potential, even though we have had a bunch of credit card earnings already. It's right at the top of the downtrend resistance too, so kind of an interesting spot, depending on what they say. Before the open on Wednesday, Boeing is pricing in 9.5. Last quarter was very bad. So will this quarter be any better? I mean, that's the question if you plan on playing Boeing. I've been avoiding the name lately, so I don't think I'm going to be involved. But it can occasionally move a lot. Options don't look too cheap though. So I don't know. I feel like you really need to have conviction on one side there. There's actually a bunch more industrials reporting Wednesday before the open too, so it should be another busy morning for industrials. Shopify, so about 4.5 is what's priced in. It's coming off a couple of quarters of weaker numbers. It's been in a tight lower range. Seems due for a move, and it actually to me seems set up pretty well for volatility strategy. I probably would like to get risk down on both sides if I played it. It's also the first of the e-commerce names to report during the week, so it could impact some of the others with it. Spotify, so about 13 points is what's priced in. It's been a while since I've had a beat and raise, so I don't know if I'd be expecting that this quarter. The main question is what's priced in at this point. Um, it probably won't be a primary focus for me, but after numbers come out, maybe I'll look for like a quick swing trade or a possible day trade. After the close on Wednesday, all right, so more big names. Meta, about 19 points, what's priced in. They didn't have a perfect quarterback at the end of April, but it ripped on low expectations. I still don't think expectations are as low as they were then, but I mean, Snap definitely helped out in that category a bit. Um, I still think it could be a fairly big mover. I mean, I feel like it sets up well for volatility strategy, but we're also really gonna have to see where it is after Google's report because I think it's gonna move a bunch in that. Qualcomm pricing in about 11.5. I still planning on avoiding semis. I guess if I do make an exception, it might be for Qualcomm. The only thing that really interests me is whether that headline from like a few weeks ago concerning Apple's chip development is true. If so, seems like Qualcomm could have some upside, but that's definitely more of like a speculative play. ServiceNow, about 35 to 36 points is what's priced in. It got whacked really hard 2 weeks ago after the CEO made some comments on CNBC. I mean, I think Microsoft will impact this, so we'll have to see what they say and where the stock is trading after Microsoft. But if it keeps dropping into earnings, maybe there's a chance for a better, like snapback, better than fear type bounce. So we'll see. Also, Wednesday, Etsy, priced it in about 13 and a half. So e-commerce, still not a great area, but some of these names have lifted over the last week. Etsy looks due for a move, but I still am more. I find it harder to like think that there's a ton of upside in this environment. So I might either avoid it for earnings or look for like a quick swing trade after. Ford. So about 85 cents is what's priced in. So you figure it'll probably move off of GM's report, but these charts are very similar, and I mean if they can break the downtrend like GM, I mean it seems like there's potential for like a longer term idea. Before the open on Thursday, so Alnylam, it's not really an earnings focus, but they are expecting data, or they have been expecting data for this, and options. The August straddle is priced in at about 45 to 46 points, so they're expecting a very, very, very big move on this. So any day now. I mean, I guess some people think it could come out with earnings. I mean, there's no certainty of that, but with options pricing in that much, I mean, when the data does come out, it could be a big, big mover. Also, you got a couple farm names. Merck pricing in three. Pfizer's pricing in two. I don't know how I feel about these for earnings. Pharma was a hiding spot for a while for many bulls, but the stocks aren't really acting special right now. Sometimes they can move big on earnings, but they're just not as consistent. So it's harder to lay out money in this environment when consistency isn't there. So I think people were waiting to hear about Merck and the potential Seattle Genetics deal, but then there was some talk that maybe the deal is not going to get done before earnings, so I don't really know what to expect there. I feel like these are all just kind of toss-ups. Also, Thursday before the open, Overstock, pricing in $4. So e-commerce, furniture, and crypto. Not exactly the best places to be right now, so I feel like Overstock could be kind of tough on multiple fronts, but sometimes it moves big on earnings. Chart doesn't look very good. Maybe I'll look at it post earnings, but I don't think I'm gonna have options on it. After the close on Thursday, so more heavyweights. Amazon about 8.5 points is what's priced in. It hasn't had a beat and raise in a while, so you kind of have to take that mindset into earnings this quarter. It has been moving consistently around earnings this year, though, and consistently big actually for that matter. So maybe it sets up for volatility strategy. Though I will say the more it rallies ahead of earnings, I think that the risk skews more to the downside. Apple pricing in 7.5. I think it's a wild card. I mean it just seems like there's a few things acting as headwinds for Apple, but the stock acts so much stronger than you would expect, even than a lot of the mega caps. So, I mean, I think if they beat and raise, that would be a huge surprise for many people, because it does seem like people are more negative on it right now. So this is a really hard setup to handicap, and I'm really torn with it. That's why I said it's like a toss-up wild card, because I just don't have any feel, and maybe more of like a game time decision what to do with options. Intel, so 275 is what's priced in. It's been hit hard 6 quarters in a row, so I mean that's my baseline expectation going into earnings, right? Unless there's some surprisingly positive announcement, you gotta think they're going to be having issues like other semis, so probably going to avoid it, like the other chip names. Also Roku, so oh, come up. There we go. All right, so about 12.5 points. What's priced in? Lackluster reports been the name of the game on this one for a little while. So something's gonna have to change to get Roku going again. Seems like a tight setup though, and it does seem like due for a move, but still feels like to me the risk is more to the downside until they can turn it around. And then lastly, Friday before the open, some more pharma names: AbbVie, here it is, and AstraZeneca. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything with these two. Some big energy names: Chevron, which is pricing in 6, and Exxon, which is pricing in 375. So, I mean, I definitely think these could move a bit, but I get my conviction level is also pretty low with them right now. Um, they are more sensitive, obviously, to what's going on with oil. Oil's attempting to stabilize after a pullback. So I don't know if earnings are going to be as big of a catalyst as what happens with oil. So I think I'll probably be more of like a after earnings, like swing focus, if anything. That's it. So, I mean, there's, even outside the names I spoke about here, I mean, there's a ton of other companies reporting. So it's just going to be an absolutely bonkers week. So buckle up. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.